is going to be special, and Baylor fans get used to talking about him for a very long time.
I think we'll have time to talk about all those guys over the course of the evening. We're set to jump center and begin this game tonight in Foster Pavilion. Chad O'Meara jumps center against Chris Impaka, and Baylor has the ball first to begin the game this evening. Right off the top, let's make the point that King mentioned. This Tarleton State team is really banged up. Head coach Billy Clyde Gillespie tells us 6 of his top 7 players not available due to injury tonight.
Yeah, well, next man up mentality. That is how you have to be able to go out here and perform if you want to try to get a win against Baylor.
Jeremy Roach toward the rim, never made it to the rim. Tarleton takes it the other way. They're the starters for the visitors from Stephenville, Texas tonight. Miles, Jordan Mazzell, Boo Boo Benjamin, Nick Grass, and Chris Impaka for Tarleton. Coached by Billy Clyde Gillespie, one-time Baylor assistant, now in his 5th year as head coach at Tarleton. Low jumper, no good. Rebound, Josh Ojonwuna for the Bears.
And if you watch this Tarleton defense, they would try to get into the paint. They would try to be able to deny you and make it really tough.
Jaden Nunn's 3, and he tops 1,000 points for his career with that 3-pointer. First points of the night, Jaden Nunn, 1,000-point score in his career.
And that's a really good sign because Baylor's not shooting it well early on. Only about 31% from the three-point line. They have to be able to improve, especially as the teams that they play get tougher and tougher going into conference play.
Jaden Nunn, Jeremy Roach, B.J. Edgecombe, Chad O'Meara, and Josh Ojonwuna, the 5 starters for Baylor tonight. Basket in, but a travel will wipe out the basket. Still 3-0 Baylor lead.
And this is something that I've been extremely impressed with Jaden Nunn. His ability to be able to knock it down from beyond deep, not just in the catch and shoot, but also off of the dribble. We saw it a few times against Arkansas. His ability to generate offense that way, off of the bounce, Jaden Nunn has gotten so much better in that sense.
The one returning starter for the Bears from last year. They lost so much from that team last year. There's a travel by Roach, lost his balance, and the Bears turned it over. Nice crowd here on a Sunday night in Waco, Texas. Coach Scott Drew and the Bears enjoying their first full season in Foster Pavilion. A trap in the corner and out of bounds. The trap by O'Meara, and Nunn forces the turnover.
And this is something that Baylor specifically wanted to work on in this game. This full court press, this diamond press, something we typically don't see from a Scott Drew team, but the full court press causing chaos, putting Chad O'Meara over the ball. Strong trap in the corner leads to the turnover.
Boo Boo Benjamin was trapped in that corner, could not get out of it. There's going to inbound side court. Three 0 Baylor lead, 18:09 mark here in the first half. Edgecombe inbounds to Roach. And the Bears set it up in the half court. To Nunn on the right side. Shook his defender. Nice fake by Nunn. Pass out, stolen away. Jordan Mazzell takes it all the way. He'll lay it in. Edgecombe thought about swatting that ball, but knew it would have been goaltending. Man, he was up above the rim.
Even his mistakes almost
right.
look impressive because his head was at the backboard. He had to honestly dodge his head. Oh, my goodness.
There we go. Alley-oop intended for Edgecombe, and he's fouled. Yeah, you're right. And how about his presence of mind to think, I could block this shot, but it's probably goaltending. I'll just let it go.
That's who he is. It's crazy, J-Mo. Every single game that B.J. Edgecombe has played, there's a highlight. There's a top 10 play because this young man, when you talk about athleticism, I was talking to Coach Charlie, the strength coach, a few days ago. We were talking about B.J. Edgecombe, and he said that he's never seen an athlete like this young man, and I can agree, right? I put him in the same category as Zion Williamson, as the Aaron Gordons of the world. These are freak athletes that you typically don't see. His athleticism is extremely rare.
Originally from the Bahamas, going to go back home. Baylor playing in the Baha Classic coming up next week in the Bahamas. Couple of free throws, 5-2 lead for the Bears, 2.5 minutes in, first half. Got to think Tarleton, their depth might be challenged tonight with all those guys out with injury. Entry pass stolen away by Norchad O'Meara. Great break on the ball.
Yeah, almost if you're Tarleton, you kind of want to slow the game down. Limit the possessions in which Baylor gets it on the offensive side.
Edgecombe, drive, layup, no, but a whistle and a foul. Tell you what, another thing about Edgecombe we've seen here early in the season, he seemed like he's a really tough guy, too.
Yeah.
Because he's taken some hits, he's taken some charges, he's taken some hard falls, and he's kind of slow getting up, but he doesn't leave the game, and he stays right in.
You know, I think that's the one thing I've been the most impressed with him when you talk about this young man. It's not his scoring, it's not his athleticism, it's how much he cares about winning. Right? It's not that he's going to try to score 15 or 20 in order to impact the game. He can do everything else. 8 rebounds a game, J-Mo, as a guard. Extremely impressive. His ability to average about 2-3 assists a game. Get his teammates, find his teammates. His ability to be able to defend and really want to defend. He's giving 100% effort at all times on the defensive side of things. DJ Edgecombe, when I talk about him, absolute winner. He cares about winning, doesn't care about stats. He does whatever he can to bring success to Baylor.
Boy, if you look at only his scoring numbers, you are doing him a disservice because he contributes in so many other ways also. A couple of free throws by Edgecombe pushes the Baylor lead to 7-2 over Tarleton. Pass stolen away by VJ Edgecombe, loses his footing, pushes the ball ahead to Roach. Roach saves the possession, now to Jaden Nunn. Jeremy Roach for three, and it's good from the right side.
And J-Mo, in a game like this, if you're Tarleton, the one thing that you have to do is take care of the basketball. You cannot have live ball turnovers that allow Baylor to get into transition. They are way too good in the open floor. Take care of the basketball if you're Tarleton.
7-0 run by the Bears, 4 turnovers by the Texans in less than 4 minutes. 10-2 Baylor advantage. Chris Impaka, the turnaround jumper. 10-4 Baylor lead at the 16-minute mark here in the first half. John Wuna puts the ball on the floor, drives in, and jams it with both hands.
And well, that's what you have to do. Jeremy Roach, they put 2 on the ball when he came off the pick and roll. Hit the open man. If they do not rotate over, John Wuna has the ability to be able to take 2 bounces and get to the rim.
12-4 the Baylor advantage. 3 ball in the air, right side, and it's good by Nick Crass. Crass, the 6'3" guard from Gulfport, Mississippi.
And the past 2 possessions have been Tarleton's best possessions. Swing it side to side. Do not try to force something that is not there. Take what the defense gives you. Leads to good buckets.
Pass to O'Meara, knocked away. Saved by Roach. 10 to shoot for the Bears. Jeremy Roach, step back 3. A little bit long. John Wuna claims the offensive rebound. Pulls his way in. Shot no good, but a foul. Really aggressive move there by Josh Ojonwuna.
Big Josh right here. You give him the ball.
Coached only the first 4 games of the year, then had to step away. Joseph Jones finished out what turned out to be a great season, 25-10 last year for Tarleton. But visiting with Coach Gillespie prior to the game, says he is feeling good and glad to be back on the bench.
And that's the biggest thing. His health is good. He's back coaching. That's truly all that matters.
Josh Ojonwuna shooting free throws out of the timeout. He knocks down a couple there. Now we'll go to the bench, and Jalen Celestine will come in. The Cal transfer onto the floor for the first time tonight. Celestine, 6'7", 215-pound. Grad transfer, originally from Ajax, Ontario. Pressure in the backcourt. Baylor's working on that here early in the game. Dawson breaks it. 3, left side, no good. Loose ball, tipped by O'Meara to Jaden Nunn. This on the 3 by Joseph Martinez. Pretty good story for Tarleton. Didn't play a minute last year for the Texans. And this year he has started a couple of games for him. Led him in scoring one game with 17. Sweet-looking shot by Jalen Celestine.
And this is a lineup that can really hurt people, J-Mo. When you have Josh go to the bench, Norchad slides over to the 5. It turns into an instant 5 out, with Norchad at the 5 being the distributor, playing that yoke control at the top of the key. But you have 4 shooters, and if you're not careful, Norchad can also knock it down.
Tarleton around the perimeter, entry pass, shot up, no, but a whistle and a foul. It's going to be on BJ Edgecombe. Edgecombe maybe caught an elbow or something there in the lower lip. Appears to be okay. His first personal foul. And free throws coming for Tarleton's Chris Impaka.
But on the flip side, we talk about how the 5 out can hurt teams. This is where you have to be careful if you are Baylor. Right there, BJ Edgecombe gets caught underneath the rim on it by a bigger offensive player. Because they're going to switch with this lineup, there will be a lot of mismatches. So Baylor has to do a good job when they're playing 5 out of fronting the basketball and make everything go over the top where your backside help is.
Martinez to the bench. Izzy Miles is back on. Miles, the sophomore guard from Huntsville, Alabama. Second free throw closer, but rims out. Norchad Omier the rebound. Omier is a walking double-double. King, I know you've seen the Baylor games. It's almost a surprise if there's a game when he doesn't have a double-double.
Well, you know, he's one of the few guys in college basketball who has almost averaged a double-double since he has gotten into college. This young man is an absolute dog on the floor in a good sense, because he plays with 110% effort, which is kind of rare today in college basketball, but he doesn't take a play off. He's a grown man.
Bob Wright, the feed to Jaden Nunn, who hits his second three-pointer of the night.
Live ball turnovers lead to easy buckets for Baylor. They're too good in transition. They have too many shooters, too much athleticism on the perimeter to be able to get to the lane or step behind the arc and shoot the tray. You have to, once again, take care of the basketball and eliminate your live ball turnovers, because right here, Jaden Nunn in transition spotting up is typically a bucket.
Nunn has 6, couple of made three-pointers. Baylor leads 19-7, nearing the 13-minute mark here in the first half. Drive in along the baseline, a whistle and a foul. Mazzell fouled by Rob Wright. You talked about Rob in the open, one of the newcomers. Man, has he been impressive.
You know, J-Mo, when you look at the whole freshman class in college basketball right now, this has to be one of the most impressive freshman classes that we've seen in a very long time, and Rob Wright is a big part of that. You know, Baylor has two of them, Rob and BJ, but Rob Wright, I mean, we knew that DJ was going to be special. I don't think people understood how good Rob Wright really was and how mature his game is. He plays older than what he really is. He's poised, he can get to the paint, he makes right decisions, he can shoot the ball even though he's not shooting it great up to this point into the season. Rob Wright, for his age, to only be 18 years old, very mature basketball player.
Averaging 10.5 points per game in his true freshman season for the first 3. You know, and he doesn't get, for a freshman, so far what we've seen, he doesn't get sped up. He's the one speeding up his opponent. There's Celestine, a 3 from the left corner.
Look at that play right there. That is the perfect example. Come off the ball screen, extremely poised, see the same side corner, take one step towards you and try to help, but you never help off the same side corner. Locates the open man, good assist, Rob Wright. That's why he averages 5 assists a game.
How about Rob Wright diving on the floor to save that possession, the steal by the Bears. Right into the paint, runner, no, just falls off. Ojanmuna is mugged under there, finally a whistle. Kissinger says, yeah, that's a foul. Scott Drew in his 22nd season here at Baylor. A masterful job, certainly a rebuilding job that is second to none in the history of college basketball. National championship banner that hangs here in Foster Pavilion, King. National championship from 2021. Ooh.
And that is an area in which Josh has to get better. We've seen him miss 2 easy ones. Yes, he's gotten fouled on both attempts, but he has to be able to convert those into get minutes for the Raptors. McKendall Brown, the Pacers. But BJ Edgecombe, is no doubt in my mind a top 5 pick in this upcoming draft just based off of athleticism alone.
Josh Ojonwuna shooting free throws. Back at the line. He was there previously, hit a couple. First one here is good. Ups the Baylor lead to 16 over Tarleton. Repeat again, Tarleton very short-handed for the game this evening. 6 of their top 7 players are out with injury, not available. Includes Freddie Hicks, who played at Tarleton, went to Arkansas State, back at Tarleton, preseason all WAC, but not available for this game. Edgecombe, 3, and he rattles it in.
And that right there, J-Mo, is where I would like to see B.J. Edgecombe be better at. I mean, only shooting 15 from the 3, sample size is not great, but that's my biggest question mark when you talk about B.J. Edgecombe. He does so many great things on the floor, but here's the one thing in which I get a little concerned about. His half-court offense when he's not in transition, when he's not able to use his athleticism. What does his actual one-on-one game look like? Can he create his own shot? Can he spot up like we just saw and knock it down from deep consistently? That's my one concern and my one question for B.J. Edgecombe.
4 free throws by Josh Ojonwuna here in the first half is tied his career high. We'll have a chance for some more, no doubt. Bears run it the other way. There's Edgecombe. The finish on the assist by Rob Wright.
In transition, we see it. He's so dynamic, so athletic. I mean, even his layup right there looked impressive. Right? I was talking to my man, Fran Fraschilla, and he made a comparison. I'm just going to throw it out there, J-Mo, but he made the comparison of Dwayne Wade.
Wow.
And to me, I'm looking like, wow, that is a very good comparison, but I see it. Look at the switcheroo. Switching hands, finishing with the left. Thought about dunking it, but really couldn't get it. But right there, I mean, we see these electric plays. He's fast. He's athletic. He plays above the rim. Very Dwayne Wade-esque. Shout out to my man, Fran Fraschilla. I will not take credit for that.
That's pretty high praise coming from you guys. 29-7 is the Baylor lead. Baylor on a 17-0 run over the last 4 minutes here in the first half. There's really hitting on all cylinders. You know, there's something to be said for not playing down to your competition. No offense to Tarleton State, but they are short-handed. But Baylor's playing their game right now, and the scoreboard shows it. Runner rolls in. Shot is good by Jordan Mazzell. Mazzell's an interesting story. Led Plano East to the 6A state title and a 40-0 record last year.
Yeah, that Plano East team was no joke.
How about that?
Yeah, I saw that firsthand. That Plano East team is no joke. That was one of the best teams ever in the state of Texas.
Mazzell, big part of that. 40-0. Pass into the corner through the hands of Matt Crass, and out of bounds. Turnover, Texans. Chad O'Meara back on the floor. Jalen Celestine goes to the bench. B.J. Edgecombe goes to the bench as Jeremy Roach is back on as well. King, this is game 5 for Tarleton. This is game 4 for Baylor on the season. How much are the coaches working on? Well, not so much for Tarleton as Rob Wright hits the three-pointer. But say, Coach Drew, how much is he working on combinations, rotations, minutes, all that here in November?
A lot. You're trying to figure out what works, especially in a game like this. That is why you see them pressing the whole game. You want to see if you can create turnovers, see if your team is good at it, see what it looks in a live game setting. And so far, it's looked really well, but you will see right now, Coach Drew try things, experiment with things, because by the time conferences starts, you want to be in tip-top shape and you want to be ready and have your game plan solidified.
Ball saved inbound, scramble for it. Jeremy Roach comes away with it and finishes with a lay-in at the other end. Boy, scramble mode for that loose ball, and Jeremy Roach was the guy who came up with it. 34-9 lead for the Bears with just under 9 minutes to play. A little surprised Tarleton isn't taking the ball out of the air a little bit more. Taking the air out of the ball, excuse me. Slowing things down. You know, they got a thin bench. You would think they might try to limit possessions in a game like this.
Yeah, but that's typically not Coach Gillespie's style. Good pass.
To Roach in the corner, who nails the triple. And the Bears are 7 of 9 shooting three-pointers here in the first half.
And they're taking the right ones and taking the open ones. And once again, Rob Wright getting to the paint, locating where the defense is helping from, hitting the open man, leads to a wide-open spot-up three from Jeremy Roach. Baylor just sharing the ball, playing the right way. This team is extremely unselfish. Oh, my goodness.
Look at that pass to O'Meara from about mid-court from Rob Wright. And a whistle and a foul.
Rob Wright getting to the paint, locating the open.
This year's team, and that's when they were at full strength, and now they're not even at full strength as of right now.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, it's a part of the game, right? Dealing with injuries, but dealing with this many injuries in a season, especially this early, J-Mo, is unheard of.
Here's put the ball back in play. Edgecombe a three, right corner, rims out. Shot no good. Got an open look from the corner. Rebounded by Matt Krass. Giselle on the perimeter. Now Martinez. 37-9 is the Baylor lead. 5 to shoot. Moselle will drive. Shot swatted away. I think that was Edgecombe with the block shot.
And that's another area where he is so good at. Leading the team in blocks right now with 2 a game. It's typically hard. His backside help, weak side help, coming over from the opposite side. That athleticism that we continue to talk about is always on display, and you have to know where he is at all times.
Well, Chad O'Meara got the ball down low, and really a rarity that he doesn't come away with a bucket, but he did not on that possession. Tarleton with 10 to shot. There's a block by Celestine. Ball kept in play by Krass. Shot clock expires. How about that defensive stand by Baylor?
One of the best defensive possessions that we have seen tonight. Baylor kept the ball out of the paint. In practice, we do a drill. Keep them out of the paint. Right there, we see it. And if they do get to the paint, they wall up, they body up. They keep you from getting right by the basket. Don't allow straight line driving angles. Good one-on-one defense right there. Last possession from Baylor.
There's turn it over. Get the ball back to Tarleton. You saw those turnover numbers there. The points off turnovers tonight. 18-2. Baylor has the advantage. Now 10 turnovers by Tarleton in the game, 4 by Baylor here in the first half. So the Texans have the ball back, leading or trailing 37-9. Chad O'Meara, the only Baylor player that has played that has not scored. That is a little odd. Texans tend to pitch it around the perimeter there. Moselle into the paint. Back outside to Miles. There. About to get caught again. Has to hurry the shot, but another shot clock violation. 2 trips down the floor, shot clocks.
The one-on-one defense, once again, stands out in this last possession. Keeping the ball in front of you, and when you do slightly get beat, the help side being right there. With Tarleton being a smaller team right now with this lineup on the floor, they're playing a 5 out, really trying to penetrate the gaps, but Baylor is not allowing that. Oh, man.
Edgecombe driving down the paint, he's fouled. It's almost like when he starts that move, like, hold on, yeah, something's about to happen.
Uh-oh.
And it's going to be good.
Uh-oh. And, you know, typically when you see that, J-Mo, you know, a lot of guys try, like, wild things like that, and you're like, oh, no way, he had no chance of doing that, right? If he didn't get fouled, he had no chance of making that.
You're right.
No, B.J. Edgecombe, when he jumps from that far out, he actually has a legitimate chance of finishing that play.
No question. Edgecombe 5 of 5 at the free throw line. First player in double-figure scoring here in the first half. He's got 10. Looking for 11, not going to get it there. Martinez the rebound, trapped. And going to say pushed out of bounds, forced out of bounds by Celestine. So Tarleton facing that press. Baylor's press full court the entire game so far. On the floor, scramble for it. Jaden Nunn has it for the Bears, and a tie-up. It looks like possession arrow favors Tarleton. Boy, that press has been pretty salty for the Bears so far.
It's looked good because they're extremely active. And one thing when you look at 1 through 4, honestly, even 1 through 5 on the court right now, they can all move. They're not all just athletic vertically, but they're extremely athletic side to side, laterally. They move really, really well.
McCrass to inbound for Tarleton, facing that full court pressure again. 5.5 minutes to go here in the first half. O'Meara steals the inbounds pass, lays it up, but is fouled. You said a minute ago 1 through 4, no, 1 through 5.
1 through 5.
O'Meara would be 5, right? And he got the steal on the inbounds pass.
1 through 5, they make it tough because they're in a diamond, but typically what we've seen from Tarleton is that they send their big man up. They flash him up to get the wide open pass. But Norchad went with him. Look at it right here. Norchad came from half court to eliminate that pass that goes to their big man, which happens to be number 8. But he got the steal because he followed him. And we're seeing the athleticism from this Baylor team on display, and they're making it tough for Tarleton.
1 of 2 free throws. First point of the night for O'Meara. Gives Baylor a cool 30-point lead with 5:20 to play. Drive, layup, shot no good by Izzy Miles, but he draws contact and a foul. Foul's going to be on Norchad O'Meara. That is his first of the night. Puts Miles at the line.
This right here is a good drive by Miles. This is what you have to do. Do not be afraid of the big or the athleticism that we continuously talk about. Go in there, expect the contact, try to finish. Good things happen. You end up on the free throw line.
Free throw is good by Izzy Miles. Ends a 5-minute, 13-second scoring drought for Tarleton. Couple of free throws for Miles. And it's 39-11. Rob Wright running the point for the Bears. Brings it into the front court. Hands it off to Jaden Nunn. O'Meara on the left wing, drives in. Ooh, it's going to be a charge called on Norchad O'Meara.
And right there, if you're Norchad, you have to know. One-on-one, you're bigger, you're stronger. Of course, the smaller defender is going to try to beat you to the spot and fall. We are always taught, smaller man wins. And right there, he pushes off, he extends. Doesn't even need to extend. You can get to where you want to go without raising your arm, just using your shoulder. But in that scenario, smaller man always wins, J-Mo. And Norchad has to know that the defender will probably take a charge in this situation.
Comes Jeremy Roach back on the floor. Jaden Nunn goes to the bench. Jaden Nunn with his first bucket tonight. It was a three-pointer. Over 1,000 points for his career. Will include his time at VCU and here at Baylor. Jaden Nunn making his 94th consecutive start. His 39th straight here at Baylor. Izzy Miles dribbles into the corner. Now passes back outside to Mazzell. Mazzell on the right wing to Crass. Back to Mazzell. Falling down, gets the pass away, and the jumper in the paint rolls in for Matt Crass. It's 39-13, Baylor on top.
I like this lineup when Rob Wright and Jeremy Roach play together, because Rob Wright gets to play the one, and I think Jeremy Roach is more of a true shooting guard, more of a scorer than an actual point guard. So I like when Rob Wright can facilitate to be able to create for Jeremy Roach so that he can do what I feel like he does best, and that's score the basketball.
Isn't it great, though, that Roach could play the 1 or the 2?
Yeah. He's a true sense of a combo guard, right? I wouldn't necessarily classify him as a 2, but I also wouldn't classify him as a 1. He is a true sense of a combo guard. The only issue is that he's 6'1".
Fouling Izzy Miles. That's his first. Puts Rob Wright at the free throw line. Down the first one, 40th point of the first half for Baylor. 2-1 on the season. Bears open the year with that top 10 matchup in Spokane, Washington against Gonzaga. Ran into a kind of a buzzsaw in the Gonzaga Bulldogs on the opening night of the college season.
Well, I mean, I just think that when you play a game like that, I don't know if you necessarily, I mean, of course you want to win, J-Mo, but I don't know, like me personally, I didn't expect Baylor to go in and win that game. Right, you're playing at Gonzaga, who is a potential Final Four championship contender legitimately. They have experienced guards who have been there. And then on top of that, you're not playing at the Kennel. You're playing at an arena that seats about 7,000 to 10,000 more. And they hate Baylor. Why do they hate Baylor? Because we beat them in a championship game. So it's almost like you're putting your team not in a bad situation, but you don't want to get blown out like they did. You want to make competitive. But me personally, I don't take that loss as something bad. I was more concerned about the game afterwards. How do you bounce back from a loss like that? And I think that Baylor responded extremely well playing Arkansas the way that they did. And so far, I mean, we've seen that game against Arkansas. We've seen it carry over and translate to all the other games. So I think that if they can keep that momentum going against a team like St. John's that they're going to see later on this week, I think Baylor has a really good chance that they can stay locked in like they were against Arkansas.
1 of 2 free throws by Wright. Look at that pass. Wow. Rob Wright to Norchad Omier for the flush.
It's the vision right there. The one-hand dime. Seeing Norchad was slightly open. He wasn't fully open, but he threw him open. He threw it to where he could go to get the easy dunk. Rob Wright is one of those ones.
Another near steal in the backcourt by the Bears. Tarleton gets it across midcourt. 3.5 minutes to go here in the first half. All Baylor, 44-13 the score. Nick Crass on the perimeter. Running hook shot. That one is no good by Izzy Miles. Rob Wright in a hurry takes it the other way. Omier to Ojanwuna. And the finger roll is good.
Right there, we saw Ojanwuna get that same post position earlier on in the game. And even though he got fouled, he missed the 2 bunnies. Right there, gets the same post position, finishes through a little bit of contact. Improvement so far in this game from Ojanwuna. That's a guy who I think needs to take it to the next level. He has to be able to have more production for this Baylor team because they are very thin in the front line.
33-point Baylor lead. There's a block shot by Omier. Keeps the ball in play. Up to Roach. The alley-oop, oh my! On the fast break, the alley-oop. B.J. Edgecombe with the finish.
Oh, my goodness.
What a play. What a play.
Yeah. We got to take another look at that one.
Oh, look at the smiles on the faces there. Wow.
B.J. Edgecombe, the past few years from a Baylor team.
A lot of new faces on this team this year. There's a lot of new faces on the bench also. Coaching staff for Baylor. Jared Nunes is here. This is his 15th year. Tweety Carter moves up into an assistant coaching role. Bill Armstrong, Steve Henson, Melvin Hunt, new to the Baylor program. Melvin Hunt, of course, played here. Ty Beard moves into the director of basketball operations position. Jason Smith moves into a general manager position. So a lot of changes on the staff, which is it's a compliment really to Coach Drew because the guys who left moved on, like moving on to other jobs, including head coaching jobs.
Yeah, I don't think we give Scott Drew enough credit when it comes to being able to keep the ship rolling no matter who leaves. Typically, we see guys like Jerome Tang, we see John Jacobs, Alvin Brooks leave, and those guys are pivotal game changers. Those guys are people who make a significant impact within a program. But the ability for Scott Drew to lose these guys, they go on to do amazing things. But to lose those guys and to still keep the same level of success, to still be able to recruit the same caliber of kid, to have the same level of team that is top 10 every single year, Scott Drew does not get enough credit for that. He has built a true culture and a true program at Baylor that I think that a lot of people undervalue.
It's going to be a foul on that drive. It is on, who do they call that foul on? It's on Harrison, his first. We'll put Jalen Celestine at the line. Really good crowd here, King. We were noticing during the break on a Sunday night in Waco, Texas. And a good student turnout as well. Students get some of the prime seats here in Foster Pavilion. And they know their job. They know their responsibility when Baylor plays at home.
Well, it's intimidating. You know, when I played here, J-Mo, we have some of the best fans in America. I love Baylor fans. However, the facility was not conducive to a very intimidating environment. This one is not like that at all. This facility will bring fear in the opponents, typically because the students are right behind the bench. They're right there on the floor. I love everything about this. People are genuinely scared to come into Baylor, and you can tell by the way they play.
Zell driving shot, never made it to the rim. That's another shot clock violation forced by the Baylor defense. And that was one of the goals, moving to Foster Pavilion, smaller than the Farrell Center, where Baylor played when Billy Gillespie was on Harry Miller's staff. 7,500 capacity here, and the hope and goal, and so far it's been true, is to fill it up every game.
Well, this is much deserved. We needed something like this. And once again, Rob Wright on the ghost screen by Celestine, who is a three-point sniper, comes in the game looking to get it off high release at 6'7", can play a really, really big role for this team moving forward.
Celestine at 10 points now here in the first half. Pass off the hands and out of bounds. Turnover, Tarleton. Bears will take it with 46.1 seconds to go before halftime. Pressure in the backcourt by the Texans. 16 turnovers here in the half by Tarleton. Ooh, nice pass. Celestine again and hitting again from the left corner.
They're just so unselfish. You've got to keep Rob right at the paint. He gets there whenever he wants to, but he makes the right decision. And then Jaden Nunn paying it off because the defense collapsed, so he hits the open man and Celestine in the corner.
Jalen Celestine, 13 points in the first half. He and VJ Edgecombe, high scorers with 13 apiece. Bears with 56 here in the first half.
Putting on an absolute offensive display. And defensive.
I would say holding Tarleton to 13 at this point. There's turnover number 17 in the half by the Texans.
Tarleton, I've never seen this. They have more turnovers than points in the first half.
Wow. Rob Wright, in and out, no good. Rebound Tarleton, and that will get us to halftime. What a half by the Bears, King. Big 56-13 lead, including two out of hand. We could bring Chip down here with us. How would that be? Baylor's ball to begin the second half. B.J. Edgecombe will inbound it. Drops it inbounds to Jeremy Roach, and we are underway in the second half. 43-point Baylor lead at the intermission. Starting five for the Bears that started the game. Nunn into the paint. Layup good with the left hand and a foul.
Oh, such a tough finish right there. The spin that he had to put on the basketball because the angle in which his hand was located towards the rim. Goodness gracious. Look at this. Good patience, good pro, but look at the spin. To be able to go a little up and under Jaden Nunn. Showing us his finishing prowess right there.
8 points in the game, looking for 9 at the free throw line. Now a 1,000-point scorer in his college career. His first bucket tonight. A three-pointer put him at 1,002. Missed the free throw. 58-13 Baylor. Tarleton looks like the same starting five that started the game. Don't have a lot of options really, again, with the injured players not available tonight. There's a reach-in foul on Jaden Nunn. Personal on Nunn in the game. Oh, and he's shooting. Didn't expect that.
Yeah, I didn't expect that one either.
Matt Kress at the free throw line. All right, so there's one missed free throw. Now watch the students. They kick into high gear here.
Let's take a look at this, see where he got him. Yeah, got him on the arm a little bit, got him on the wrist.
One of two. Hold the cupcakes. 58-14. Here's facing a little backcourt pressure by Tarleton. That is really surprising with a thin bench, but not surprising if you know Billy Gillespie.
Yeah, and I think that that's where, when you look at the size of Tarleton, I think that they're being a smaller team. You either want to slow the game down or try to put pressure and speed it up.
Anchor by Edgecombe, shot no good. Whistle and a foul on the rebound. Chad O'Meara had the rebound. Foul's going to be called on Izzy Miles.
You know, also if I was Tarleton in the second half, I would see if a zone would work. I would want to see if a zone can get me more stops against this versatile Baylor offense.
Inbounding back to Roach, puts up a three, skips over the rim, no good, but a rebound and put back by Chad O'Meara. Doing what he does so well, working the offensive glass. O'Meara puts the Bears up 60-14. Nunn taps the ball away into the backcourt. Now a tie-up and a possession arrow favors Tarleton. Quick hands by Jaden Nunn. Baylor very aggressive still.
Now look at Chad. Good rebounders understand that when the ball is shot on one side of the floor, majority of the time it will land on the opposite. Rico Gathers, a guy who I played with, was one of the best at it, and I would say that Chad is just as good.
Up the floor in a hurry. Open three is good by Joseph Martinez. Martinez, a redshirt freshman from El Paso. And a guy who didn't play a single minute last year. He has had his minutes extended here. There's a block by Edgecombe. Ojanwuna runs the floor. Layup no good. Rebound O'Meara. Diagonal pass out to Roach. The three is no good. Another offensive rebound. And a blocking foul is what they call. Ojanwuna had the rebound. Won't get the basket.
Right here, beat the pressure, get the ball up. One of the few open shots that Tarleton State has gotten tonight. And once again, DJ Edgecombe, the pogo stick.
He does have some hops, doesn't he?
Hops is an understatement.
Here's inbounding on the baseline. Inbounds to Jaden Nunn, reach in foul. Baylor will now inbound far side court. VJ Edgecombe drops it inbounds to Josh Ojanwuna. Back to Edgecombe. Try to get it to Jeremy Roach, but out of bounds. Turnover Bears.
So far in the first 2 minutes and some change, VJ Edgecombe with 2 turnovers. Not a great sign if you're Baylor.
7 on the night by Baylor. They had, 4 at halftime. 17 turnovers by Tarleton. Whistle away from the ball. So the foul on Jeremy Roach. No, it's not. It's on O'Meara. Wow. That was on O'Meara, and that is his 4th personal tonight. Ball tipped out of bounds. Last touch by Edgecombe. Tried to get the possession. Tried to talk Brett Smith into it. And Brett points the way of Tarleton. O'Meara, 4 personal fouls, going to go to the Baylor bench. He looks like the look on his face would say he doesn't know he had 4 personal fouls.
Well, he plays so hard, and typically guys who play as hard as Norchad are foul prone. They get in foul trouble easily. But moving forward, he has to be aware. He has to be cognizant of how many fouls he has at all times, because he is a pivotal player for Baylor. He has to be on this court.
Well, it appears Tarleton is shooting technical free throws. Martinez shooting the free throws. Technical foul was called on Jalen Celestine. And to be honest, I didn't see what happened.
I didn't see what happened either.
Maybe said something we didn't notice, but technical foul on Celestine. 2 free throws for Tarleton. Knocked down by Martinez. Shot too strong, rebounded on the backside by Jaden Nunn. 60-19 is the score. Celestine for 3, left corner, no good. Look at Edgecombe. That wingspan to grab the rebound. Tried to save it inbound, starts the break the other way, and ends with a layup by Boo Boo Benjamin. Tarleton on a 7-0 run against the Bears, the last minute 25 here. Benjamin's first bucket of the night for Tarleton. He's had 10 or more in each of the first 4 games. Edgecombe fouled. He'll go to the free throw line for 2.
You know, J-Mo, we talk about coming out with the same level of focus, and Tarleton getting out in transition, breaking the press, causing turnovers, outscoring Baylor right now 8-4 in the second half. You have to be able to pick it up right now. You have to be able to lock in for another 20 if you're Baylor. And Scott Drew probably isn't proud of the start that Baylor has come out in the second half with.
Edgecombe free throw gives him 14 on the night. That's a new career high here at Baylor. His previous career high was 13. Now 15 in the game. That'll continue to climb tonight and in the games to come. But again, don't measure VJ Edgecombe's contributions purely on his scoring.
Because he does so much more than score.
Bounds to Benjamin, off to the races. Tried to drop it off. He did. Dropped it off. The banker is good by Ronnie Harrison.
And right there, that's just way too easy to allow one pass to be able to create a 2-on-1 fast break. The press, they're not as locked in right now in this first 4 minutes.
Tarleton's outscored Baylor 10-6 to start the second half. Defender fell down. Jaden Nunn's 3 is no good. Rebound Ojonwuna, shot no good. Jaden Nunn puts it up, gets hammered, but his shot is no good. Jeremy Roach, baseline jumper, shot no good. He's controlling that offensive glass, but don't have any points to show for it. That trip down the floor. And lost his balance out of bounds. Turnover, Tarleton. It'll be Baylor's ball following a timeout. Texans on a mini roll. 62-23 is the Baylor lead over Tarleton. Texans' leading scorer at this point in the game would be Martinez with 5. And Mazzell has 4. But Texans on a 10-6 run to start this second half. They've outscored Baylor 10-6 in the second half. Jeremy Roach across the timeline, picked up by Mazzell. Freshman out of Plano East. Bob Wright back out there. Roach to Celestine. Drives in. Shot will roll in for Celestine.
That's a great take right there. We typically don't see him get to the rim and finish through contact because he's a three-point sniper like I talked about earlier. But strong finish right there by Celestine.
Giving 15 on the night. Boo Benjamin to the baseline. Back outside. Mazzell, an open look at a 3. A couple of bounces on the rim and off. Rebounded by Jaden Nunn. Screen backcourt by Ojanwuna. And a whistle and a foul as Nunn gets into the front court. Harrison guilty of the foul. That is his 3rd on the night.
Take a look at this drive right here. Bad closeout. Expecting contact. Going through the chest. Not looking for a foul. Good finish right there.
There's inbounding on their baseline. Roach gives to Edgecombe, left wing. Edgecombe drives, lost the handle, taken the other way by Izzy Miles. Oh, Miles, nice move, and he drops it in.
A little Jamal Crawford-esque right there. The quick behind the back. Nice floater to not get it blocked right there. That's a great move right there by Miles.
Everyone that's played has scored now for Tarleton in the game. Celestine knocking down another 3. From the top of the key, he is 4 of 5, shooting 3-pointers tonight. Jalen Celestine has 18 points. Edgecombe tips it away.
Oh,
he dunks it at the other end. And a foul.
Oh, man.
He is a highlight waiting to happen. DJ Edgecombe, another one there.
Now, number 3, you've seen this guy every single game on top 10 plays. Get out the way when Eric VJ is about to take off. Another highlight for the books.
Ronnie Harrison, his 3rd personal foul. I don't know why. You'd think he would kind of duck for cover there. Edgecombe leaves the free throw off the right side. No good. Edgecombe now 17 points on the night. Miles thinks about going baseline. Gets it back outside to Mazzell. Drive to the baseline on the opposite side and lost out of bounds. Turnover, Tarleton. That is turnover number 20 tonight by the Texans. A 69-25 lead for Baylor. Lob right to Edgecombe. Passes on the baseline. 3-ball left corner is good by Jeremy Roach.
And that's a great pass right there. Defense sinks in. BJ was able to locate that, saw where the open man was. Jeremy Roach knocking it down from deep. Good play right there by BJ Edgecombe.
He grows to 72-25. Baylor up on Tarleton. And a travel as he lost his balance. Ronnie Harrison into the paint area. Turnover number 21 on the night. 8-0 run by the Bears over the last minute and a half. Blow the lead to 72-25. Edgecombe right wing to right. Left corner, three. No good by Roach, but a rebound by Edgecombe. To Celestine, another three. Misfires on this one. Boy, what a weapon that guy is. 6'7", and can shoot the three so well.
It's the versatility. I mean, when he's in the game, you know what he brings to the table, but he can play the four, he can play the three, he can play multiple positions. On defense, he moves well enough laterally to be able to guard really 2 through 4. Can even maybe slide him down to the 5 sometimes, depending on the team in which you're playing. But he's definitely a piece in which Scott Drew loves to have.
Ubu Benjamin, the hook shot in the paint is good. Makes it 72-27. Nice give and go to O'Meara, but a travel. Chad O'Meara just not himself tonight. So far, there's still 11:29 to play. Look at those guys. You think they would help?
Of course.
I think they would help a lot.
I know for a fact that those guys were out here, this score would not look this way.
So very short-handed for Billy Gillespie and his Texans tonight. Play here in Waco tonight. Next game is in Ann Arbor against Michigan coming up on Thursday. Tough schedule in non-conference. Billy Gillespie doesn't shy away from that. Back to play with Baylor up 72-27. All knocked away. Edgecombe comes away with it for Baylor. Nice to Rob Wright. A three in transition is good by the freshman Rob Wright.
Something we really haven't seen from him this year. His three-point shot, like I said, the sample size isn't great, but his percentages aren't good up to this point. But that is something I think he is more than capable of being a consistent shooter. The form looks good. Good decision right there by VJ. Stepping right into it. Knock it down. Solid rotation. Rob Wright is going to be a special guard for Baylor.
12th made three tonight by Baylor. And 12 of 22, 55%. O'Meara, the rebound of the Tarleton miss. Right into the paint this time. In and out on that one. Loose ball tipped out. Edgecombe saves it. Jason Asamoah is on for the first time tonight. Another freshman in that very highly touted freshman class for Coach Drew. And a pass into the corner off the hands of Rob Wright and out of bounds. Turnover Bears up 75-27. 75 points with 10 minutes, 14 seconds to play.
Yeah, that's a lot of buckets.
That's going to be rolled a jump ball, and the possession arrow favors Baylor. Bears will take it the other way. Celestine inbounds. It is stolen, and then stolen right back by Wright. To Asamoah. Three. Shot no good. Rebound Nick Crass for Tarleton. Muzel gives it to Martinez. Martinez now back top of the key. Harrison loses the ball, but fouled in the process. Celestine will be guilty of the foul.
Good defense all the way up until the swipe down at the end. Got him on the wrist. Good call right there by the referee.
Second personal on Jalen Celestine. It is foul number 3 on Baylor here in the second half. Students swing into high gear. There's a miss. So that shot that you saw from behind Harrison, that's what he's looking into with the student section. Miss here, and it's cupcakes. Magnolia cupcakes for the student section. And he hits it. And they boo. Boy, students really add to the atmosphere, don't they?
I love it.
Rob Wright into the front court, loops the pass. Celestine a three, no good. Too strong, rebounded by Asamoah.
So how does that work, J-Mo? So do they have to show their ticket that they were at the game in order to get a free cupcake? Like, how does that work?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, a voucher. Right.
Oh, okay.
So Abby tells us you get a voucher when you leave. That proves you were here. And then you go to Magnolia and pick up the cupcake.
Ah.
You had those cupcakes from Magnolia?
I have.
Uh-huh.
I mean, typically I try to stay away, especially right now, J-Mo.
Right.
J-Mo, I have gained so much weight. It is really, it's really like, I don't know. I'm not proud of myself right now because my schedule has been so hectic that I have been lazy and not been able to work out. And Tweety Carter pointed out the other day, he was like, dang, man, what have you been doing? And then I look at Tweety and say, hey, we're on the same level right now.
Harrison had the dunk at the other end for Tarleton. Tweety, part of that Cooch's weight loss challenge this summer. Did you know about that?
I have no idea about this.
Okay.
I should have joined.
I don't want to give away too much, but they kind of split the coaches into teams. And typical competition, the team that lost the most weight won the competition this summer.
Ah.
Tweety dropped some LBs this summer.
But you know the crazy thing is, Tweety can still hoop.
Oh, yeah.
Tweety can still give buckets no matter what size he is. Like the jump shot is pure.
Always has been, probably always will be. He's out there with the vets, isn't he, during the summer?
He is.
And you?
Hey, it's funny, J-Mo. One of the Matthew Mears, shout out Matthew Mears' manager or grad assistant now, grad assistant for Baylor now, gave me one of my old jerseys.
Oh, nice.
And I literally, my daughter was with me, and she says, Daddy, you used to be able to fit that? I said, oh.
That's great.
All right, baby girl. Okay.
Out of the mouths of babes. That's great. I say that ball will stay with Tarleton. Baylor 12 made threes tonight. They were 9 of 13 in the first half, just 3 of 12 so far here in the second half. There's a three by Boo Boo Benjamin knocking it down. Cat is 25% from three-point range on the season. Look good on that one. Or Chad O'Meara backing down. Boo Boo. All knocked out of bounds. Last touched by Tarleton. So Baylor off to the Bahamar Classic in Nassau, Bahamas this week. Play St. John's in the first game on Thursday. Jaden Nunn knocks down another three. Night going for Jay Nunn. He's got 11 points. He's 3 of 5 from beyond the arc.
St. John's team is pretty good. You look at Simeon Wilcher, another highly touted freshman who's up there, who they talk about in the same breath as VJ, as Rob Wright, as some of these other freshmen we see across the country. We look at the transfer from Seton Hall. Wow, I'm blanking on his name right now. I have no idea. But nonetheless, it will be a great test. And
either Tennessee or Virginia in the second game. Interesting, Baylor has never played Tennessee in basketball. Like, never. It's a little surprising.
And that'll be a good one. I mean, Rick Barnes, one of the best coaches in college basketball, and it'll be a good test from a guard perspective. Jeremy Rose versus Zakai Ziegler, a guy who you're talking about is one of the toughest point guards in America. He definitely is that.
That opener against St. John's, that'll be a great matchup. Asamoah misses the three.
I mean, St. John's is a team, they love to get out in transition just like Baylor. I mean, you look at R.J. Lewis, the R.J. Lewis matchup versus North Chad O'Meara. R.J. Lewis right now is averaging, I want to say, around like 16 and 8. I mean, Kadari Richmond, a kid whose name I completely blanked on earlier, transfer from Seton Hall, not playing great so far up to this point of the season. but do not get it twisted. He can hoop at a high level, and he's one of those guys who, I mean, against a team like Baylor, could have a breakout game if you're not careful. But Simeon Wilcher is as good as almost any freshman point guard in the country. When you talk about Rob Wright, B.J. Edgecombe, Tahad Pettiford, I mean, there's so many good guards, so many good freshmen across the board. And I think Simeon Wilcher is as good as all of them.
It'll be a great matchup. The tournament opener in Nassau, Bahamar, for Baylor. And Tarleton actually plays. There's two versions of that tournament. And Tarleton will play in the other version, not the one Baylor's in, but the following week, Thanksgiving week, Tarleton will be in that tournament as well. Not sure John Wuna shooting free throws, looking good. Knocking both of them down. 82-33 is the Baylor lead. Baylor women are going to the Bahamas also. They play in the battle for Atlantis. King, when you were here, you guys won the battle for Atlantis. Woo, man, was that exciting.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Those were some big wins.
Back when I could fit the jersey.
Into the backcourt, turnover by Tarleton. Bears will take it over. 6:38 to play. Who'd you beat in that run? Louisville was one of them.
Louisville.
Who else?
It was Louisville. It was
Michigan State.
Michigan State and VCU.
And VCU. That's right. Huge tournament run for you guys. Wearing the Volt uniform, lighting it up. Jeremy Roach continues to light it up. A three from the left corner. And a steal in the backcourt by Baylor. Another turnover by Tarleton. Well, they are starting to show some fatigue. You can tell Tarleton is. That short bench.
One thing Jeremy Roach is doing a great job of knocking it down from deep, but right there, coming off the ball screen, being able to get his feet set, not just a typical catch and shoot, an area where I think he's really, really improved.
14th made three tonight by the Bears. That ties their season high. They've got a season high in steals already with 12 and growing. What do you think about Jason Asamoah? Have you seen enough of him?
Yeah, I think he has a lot of potential, a lot of upside. I think that there will be games this year in which he's going to be called on to play heavy minutes because Baylor, they're only about 8 deep. So I think that there will be times in which he's going to have to play, but his length, his athleticism, the size, the versatility on the defensive side, I think that he's a typical prospect in which Scott Drew loves. 6'7" wings who can shoot the ball, but also put it on the floor, have some vertical explosion, can defend multiple positions. That is what you love to see. That's what you typically see from Scott Drew wings. And he can play, really, honestly, 2 through 4 if he can knock it down at a more consistent rate from beyond the arc.
Turnover number 26 by Tarleton tonight. Game Baylor's led really big from very early on, but they only have 11 turnovers. That's a good job of not letting things get too hully-gully. Up the perspiration on the floor.
I mean, honestly, when you look at it, about 4 or 5 of those turnovers were self-inflicted turnovers.
Yeah. Turnovers
that, weren't created by the defense. They were just, brain mishaps, bad turnovers. But it's impressive to be able to take care of the basketball, to be able to do what Baylor is doing despite the competition. The way that they are doing it. You expect Baylor to win a game like this, but it's the way in which they are doing it is what leads to me being impressed.
Pass to B.J. Edgecombe on the baseline. Can't keep it inbounds, so there's a turnover by Baylor. That's number 12 on the night. With 5.5 minutes to go. There's the things well in hand. 52-point lead. Ubu Benjamin. Miles to Martinez. And a turnover by Tarleton. Asamoah. Runner in the banker. It's good and a foul. Jason Asamoah, chance at a three-point play with 5:12 remaining.
We talk about the potential, but look at this right here. Dips the shoulder, finishes through contact, but on the opposite end, when he was on the defensive side of things, his activity, being in the right position, his help side defense, those are the things that Scott Drew wants to see out this young man that will grow his minutes in the rotation.
88-33 is the Baylor lead.
And as soon as I say that, he goes for a crazy steal right there. And this completely gets out of position.
3 points, ties his career high very early in his Baylor career. It's an air ball that goes out of bounds over to Baylor with just under 5 minutes remaining. Token pressure in the backcourt by Tarleton. Bob Wright, no trouble, gets it across the timeline. Asamoah, a three, and he's got it! 6 on the night by Jason Asamoah.
You gotta love it right there. Jab step, one dribble into the three. He's another piece in which can add to the versatility of this Baylor squad.
Martinez misfires from three-point range. Edgecombe a three, it's no good. Benjamin the rebound.
J-Mo, I think these minutes are huge for Asamoah right now because he's proven to Scott Drew that he can be valuable, that he can do things in which, you know, he's not a liability on the basketball floor, and that's what Scott Drew looks for in these moments. I mean, a lot of people think that that these minutes do not matter because you're up by almost 60 points. They matter, especially for a guy like Asamoah. Prove to Coach Drew that you can be an asset on the court. And right here, look at this.
No matter how it turns out, they can't lose. But Greg's wearing green, I'm sure, tonight, the way this one's going. And maybe going into it.
Shout out to the Bruners.
Great folks. Drew's starting to get into his bench a little bit. Jalen Celestine shoots free throws. Omar Adegbola is on the floor for Baylor.
J-Mo, didn't you win an award recently?
Yes.
What award did you win? Tell me more.
So you're really filling time here, aren't you?
You know who actually brought it up to me, though?
No.
Jerome Tang.
He did?
Jerome
Well, that's
Tang.
nice.
Coach Tang actually texted me and said, "Congrats to you on your award." And I was oblivious to you winning an award. So what award did you win?
Like he just now texted you?
Yeah, he texted me during the game, probably about like 20 minutes ago.
That's great. It is the Chris Schenkel Award from the National Football Foundation. Very humbling. Very nice. The banquet in Las Vegas on December 10th. 3 left corner. Shot no good. Put back by Dubravicic is no good.
Well, congrats to you, J-Mo.
Thank you, sir.
Well deserved. One of the best in the business.
I don't know about that.
Oh, J-Mo, you're definitely one of the most humble guys that I know. To be the voice of the Bears, the humility is always on display, and I love it, J-Mo.
I appreciate that. You know, here's the best part. To be honest, Frank Fallon won the award in 2001.
Yeah.
And Baylor is now the only school that has had 2 recipients. Only school in the country.
There we go.
Now that is the best part.
There we go.
That is nice. And anytime we can mention Frank Fallon's name, that is a good thing. Dubravicic, his first point at Baylor. Bears get to 94. We can get back to basketball now, right?
You hate talking about yourself, J-Mo.
We've talked enough about that. There's that zone defense moving pretty well. Short jumper by Benjamin is good. 94-35 is the Baylor lead with 2:40 to go. Rob Wright That quick slash to the bucket for the lay-in.
It's the change of pace. When he comes off the ball screen, he probes to see what opens up, and when he sees the lane, he takes off and explodes and gets to the rim. Rob Wright is once again special.
Miles, three, no good. Asamoah the rebound. Hang on, may have stepped out of bounds. No, he didn't. It's just a wet spot on the floor. It's Baylor's ball.
J-Mo, Mark Vital says congrats too.
Now that's the nice part. If you hear from Mark Vital, that's a pretty cool deal. Thank you for that.
The funny part is, the reason why I heard from him is because he said he can't fit his jersey either.
That's great. Asamoah the dunk with the exclamation point. That's pretty funny.
Shout out to my man, Mark Vital, man.
Asamoah the dunk and the foul.
Once again, a good pass by Rob Wright, and we see the explosion right there. One step, being able to just vertically explode up in the air. Asamoah has shown tonight that he should be one of those 8-9 in the rotation.
He got 8 points tonight. He's showing.
He's done a lot of good things on the floor.
Three by Martinez is good.
I need to stop hyping him up on the defensive side. Every time I say something good about him on the defensive side, something bad happens.
98-38. Do the math.
60.
60-point lead with a minute 22 to play. Omar, three. Yeah, a couple of bounces on the rim and off. Dubravcic is fouled on the rebound.
You put me on the spot right there, J-Mo. I feel like if I would have got that wrong, my mom would have been so upset at me.
Scott Drew always coaching. His team up by 60. And he's using the opportunity. Marino Dubravcic is from Croatia. 6'10", 228 freshman. And he gets the Bears to 100, eliciting a huge roar from the crowd, led by the students. Bears get to 100 on the night with a minute 11 to play. Open three, right corner. That is good by Martinez. Martinez missed his last opportunity there. He makes that one count.
Right there in the zone, the corner man in which I hyped up this whole game. But he has to be more disciplined in the corner when he's playing in this zone because he's giving up 2 wide open threes trying to play too high.
There's Omar with his first bucket tonight. Nice to see Omar Adegbola, redshirt freshman out of Houston and Montverde Academy. Put his name in the scoring total. Get a basket now for Davison Hubbard out there. Davison, a grad student transfer from Hampton, Sydney. Omar passes it back out, saved by Wright. Oh, extra pass, no good. And Omar padding his stats, gets the rebound and the putback. Well, you know things are going your way when you can pad your stats with an offensive rebound on your own miss and put it back in. Final seconds, that's the final shot, and Baylor dominating in the win tonight over a shorthanded Tarleton State team. Yeah, Billy Clyde Gillespie back in Waco and Foster Pavilion.